Did you know that plastic takes 450 years to fully decompose? That means almost all plastics that have been produced are still with us in our environment. Welcome to the second episode of Talking Trash, where we unpack the mess and realities of environmental issues. I am your host, Joy Mlama. Joining us again is our beloved first guest, Karen Njue. Welcome, Karen.
Thank you. Viewers beloved.
Karen.
Happy to be back this soon. I know I said I'll be back, but I didn't know it was this soon. Thank you for having me.
Okay, thank you, Karen, for joining us. So before we go ahead and handle our why we are having Karen again, yeah, it's not a surprise. People loved you, so someone had a question for you because they loved you so much in episode 1. And if you've not watched episode 1, kindly go and watch episode 1 and find out the consensus that we had on whether we should keep doing beach cleanups and cleanups in general. So you might not be living in the coastal areas, so it's biased of me or very niche of me to say beach cleanups. So it's cleanups in general. So go and find out what we agreed on together with the viewers. You also share what you think about that topic. Okay, so Karen, before we dive into the question that you were asked by Martha. So hi Martha. Thank you so much for your comment. So I hope you'll watch this episode so that you can get the answer to your question. Before we go to that question, let us play a game.
Okay.
So it's a rendition of a very popular, I'm not sure if it's a popular game across the world, but it is a very popular game in Kenya. So if you're Kenyan, you know the version here of nyama 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 nyama. If you're in church, Sunday school and all that, you know the Bible, 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 Bible. So we are doing a rendition for that song, but for circular economy. And this is how it goes. So I'll be playing it with Karen. So Karen, you know the game?
Yeah, I do.
I've tested it with you.
I do.
Okay. So the game, so let's start. Plastic, plastic, plastic.
Plastic.
Plastic, plastic, plastic.
Plastic.
PET.
Plastic.
PVC.
Plastic.
PLC.
Not plastic.
Plastic, plastic, plastic.
Plastic.
Yeah. Plastic, plastic, plastic.
Plastic.
HDP.
Plastic.
LDP.
Plastic.
PVC.
Plastic.
LTP.
Not plastic.
Okay, I can't think of any other thing that is not plastic, like a combination of letters that is not plastic. But let's go for a final round.
Okay.
Plastic, plastic, plastic.
Plastic.
Plastic, plastic, plastic.
Plastic.
HDP.
Plastic.
PP.
Plastic.
PLC.
No, not plastic.
No. You
Not
said
plastic.
plastic.
Not plastic. Not plastic.
That came after you had thought about it.
It was a slip of the tongue.
Exactly. So that slip of the tongue, it happens that you're out of the
Okay,
game, so we are
you
out.
got me.
Yeah. Okay, so Karen, Martha's question was, how can the coastal communities implement circular economy principles for better waste management?
Okay. That's a good question. So let's first start by understanding what are these circular economy principles, and then we'll get to how can coastal communities now apply these principles in managing their waste. So we have 3 principles when it comes to circular economy, and I like to use this acronym RED so that it's easier for people
For people to
to
understand.
understand and also remember.
Yeah.
So the first principle is usually reduction of waste, reducing waste. So in circular economy, it supports the idea of eliminating waste, either in our processes or in our systems. So communities can adapt circular economy principles. They can minimize or reduce waste by adapting better waste management strategies. So here in the coast, a lot of people, most people either burn their waste or practice open dumping as a way of managing their waste, which we know is not the best way to manage the waste. So they can adapt better waste management strategies, whereby I know there are a lot of initiatives now along the coast whereby they are buying back plastics. There are a lot of buyback schemes whereby communities now take the initiatives to collect the plastic, and instead of disposing it to the environment, they take them to material recovery facilities whereby they now get even payment for that plastic. They earn an income from that plastic. The second thing that communities can do in eliminating waste is practicing sustainable consumption. And by sustainable consumption, what I mean is just reducing their reliance to single use plastic and finding alternatives. So instead of buying your bottle of water every time you're thirsty, how about just carrying a reusable water bottle whereby you can refill water every time you feel thirsty? So whenever you're going to the market to buy stuff, how about instead of buying a new shopping bag every time you go out, how about investing in just one bag, and therefore thereby reducing the waste. The other thing communities can do, which takes me to the second principle of circular economy, is trying to see how can they extend the life cycle of a product. So before you throw something in the bin, what can you do to prolong the life cycle of that product? And I remember when growing up, whenever we used to, I enjoy using Blue Band as my favorite spread on the bed. So
I think
on the
most
bread.
Kenyans do.
Yes. So once it was over, we used to use the tin to package our salt or even sugar, and even when we used to go to play. You remember Kati?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, we used to use
If you're a
old
Kenyan, you
socks.
know. Yes. You use the old socks to make that ball, which was really fun. And even for soccer, kids used to use the paper to make,
Yes.
remember,
Yeah,
to
the
make that.
polythene bags that were banned.
Exactly, to make a ball. And there are so many examples. When your cloth is torn, before just discarding it, take it to the tailor, and if the patches are too many, turn that thing into a mop or even a cloth to wipe your surface.
Surfaces and
So
windows,
the
yeah.
concept is really try and see how can I reuse a particular product, how can I repair, how can I repurpose, how can I recycle. And then lastly, which is the final principle of circular economy, is trying to see how can we regenerate our natural resources. So, and this includes activities such as tree planting, such as mangrove planting, because we are trying to see how can we restore our natural environment. Because most of the products that we make, we draw the resources from the environment. So we have to ensure that these resources stay long enough such that future generation can also enjoy and
Yeah,
use these
these
resources. We
resources.
don't want to deplete all the resources that we have.
True.
So for the coastal communities, they can take part in such any initiatives that ensure that we are restoring the environment into its natural state. So your beach cleanups, just volunteering for these activities, removing the waste that already exists in the environment is also one way of restoring, ensuring that we are regenerating our natural resources. So those are the different things that communities can do within the coast to manage their waste. And if you indulge me, I know there are very many initiatives that are doing a lot when it comes to waste management, and they are working with communities. Case example, we have Equal Recycling that has a buyback scheme whereby it works with it registers community groups, trains them on the different types of plastic that are recyclable and the different values, and then they buy that plastic from the community. So it's a win-win, not only for the environment, but also the communities get to benefit because they're earning an income from that. And we also have Flip Floppy Project who have designed a really wonderful resource. It's a toolkit that basically guides communities on how they can set up waste management programs within their community. And they also have options of low tech innovations and solutions that are easy for communities to adopt. And I think this is a great resource that maybe you can put up a link on the description box, and anybody who's interested can just look it up, because it's really amazing the resources that are available for us when it comes to just finding ways in which we can adapt and ignite the growth of circular economy within our Kenyan coast.
Thank you, Karen, for that comprehensive answer. I've learned the new acronym today. I knew about the reducing, extending life cycle. I didn't know about the acronym. So thank you for the acronym. And of course, we'll put up the flip floppy resource. I've read it and it's actually very good. So it can benefit even the communities that are not very educated, the community members who are not maybe having degrees or anything. So it's a good resource. And of course, we'll keep it there. And there's just something that you've touched on. And I know a lot of community members have the concern of how sustainable is them getting involved in the buyback scheme. So, how much can they earn in a buyback scheme?
I think we have to look at the bigger picture on what we are trying to achieve, even with the buyback scheme, because the idea we are trying to change the social behavior of people and how they view waste. We want people to shift from viewing waste as waste, because we say waste is only waste if we
When
choose to waste it. I know it sounds like a tongue twister, but what we are trying to do is changing their perspective and trying to show them that waste is actually a resource. There's nothing like waste.
Waste, yeah.
So by us like even buying and providing that incentive for them is just to show them that hey, this is a resource. And it doesn't stop there, because you can also, I've seen a lot of community groups who are actually using the waste to make final products. Some are making art pieces, some are making drinking glasses from the
Glass
wine
waste.
wine
Yes.
bottles, and they're selling that
Yeah.
within the cost and earning an income from that. So I would say it's pretty sustainable, because waste will always be
Available.
readily available. So you have a constant supply of waste,
Raw material,
which
yeah.
is of raw material, which is free. You're not
You're not
paying or anything. So it's upon you to just be innovative with the quote unquote waste, because we say there's nothing like waste. It's a it's a raw material. So adopting innovation and being creative with the waste that you have.
So yeah. That I think that answers the question of how sustainable can a buyback scheme be. Because when you think about it, waste is not just plastic waste.
Yes.
We have various waste types of waste like metals. We have scrap dealers that take metal. So if you have that kind of waste at home, instead of dumping it in your farm or just randomly dumping it across your compound, you can just sell it to a scrap dealer. The good thing about something like metal, it can be recycled infinitely without losing without losing its value as a raw material. So there are various material products and waste that we can recycle.
Yeah.
And you talked about innovation, and it's actually good that you brought that up. So, my final question is on that. So, we have the young people that are in university and they want to innovate. Just give them a word of encouragement, because innovation comes with its own challenges, and she has told us to innovate. So, let Karen just leave us, the innovators, with a final word of encouragement, so that we don't lose hope and don't lose the sight in the middle of the journey, because it can be a long and tiresome journey depending on what you're innovating. Let me just put that clear. Not all innovations are actually expensive or difficult or out of the world, that you have to take 3-4 years.
Yeah.
So yeah, anyway, let her encourage all innovators as we close the episode.
So I would just like to say, like, right now we are privileged because we live in a world where information is readily available for everyone. So I would say just that whatever level you are, because when I say innovation, you don't we have low tech ideas whereby like the examples that you are giving,
Yeah.
the like for example the toys we used to make when we are really young playing, that is a form of innovation,
Innovation.
and we didn't need much, we didn't need funds, we did basically we didn't need much. We worked with what is
What
around
is
us.
around our
So I would
environment.
say, look what is around you and make use of the readily resources that we have and the information that we have, and collaborate. Collaborate.
Collaborate.
Yes.
That cannot be said enough. So thank you, Karen. So yeah, as she left us with the final encouragement, collaborate.
Yeah.
Even within our communities, we have to collaborate in order to actually make the waste management be sustainable. Because if you're the only one doing it and your neighbors are not doing anything about their waste, you're still going to be living in an environment where you are just surrounded with waste. So collaborate with your neighbors. Tell your neighbor about circular economy after
Yeah.
watching this episode. Tell them about R&D randomly in your daily conversation. Just bring it up. So thank you guys. So this is where we end it. So this is where we end it and say our goodbyes. And as a closing remark from your host, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. I will leave the first episode somewhere on YouTube. It's somewhere above this video. So I'll leave the first episode. So if you have not watched it, just go and watch it, and also subscribe and like. If you have a question for Karen, or you just have a question about any environmental issue, just comment. I'll make sure I find someone to answer your question. That is a promise. So bye guys.
Bye.